My wife demanded. You must sell your inherited farm, because I hate living in the Midwest. I quietly handed her divorce papers and my family lawyer's card. She screamed about alimony and half my assets. I told her the farm was worth $9 million and was 100% protected by my airtight trust. Best Reddit story. Arthur, was 34 years old. I had been married to my wife, Vanessa, 33, for 3 frustrating years. I worked as the on-site farm manager for my family's historical property. My job was stable but low paying on paper. My annual salary was a modest $65,000. Vanessa owned a small, high-end women's boutique in downtown Omaha. Her income was commission-based, averaging $50,000 annually. We lived in a charming, but isolated, 2-story house on the property. The farm itself was 500 acres of prime corn and soybean land. The house was located 45 minutes outside of Omaha, Nebraska. Our combined lifestyle was comfortable but entirely focused on the city. Vanessa insisted on driving her luxury sedan into Omaha daily. We spent all our money at expensive, trendy restaurants and bars. Our friends were exclusively Vanessa's city acquaintances. They constantly reinforced her negative view of the farming life. They saw me as a simple, uncultured farm boy, stuck in the slow lane. The massive land holdings were just seen as a debt burden. Vanessa had no idea of the land's true financial security. The farm was the single most important thing in my life. It had been passed down through my family since the 1880s. I had recently received an incredible opportunity to modernize the farm. A new agricultural technology firm offered me a massive grant. The grant was $450,000 over 3 years for sustainable farming research. This would transform my operation and my life. It required me to sign a new, legally binding preservation trust agreement. The trust would protect the land from all future claims. I brought the grant paperwork home one Tuesday night. Vanessa was busy planning her next expensive boutique promotion. I said I received the major grant for the farm. It is a huge $450,000 grant. We can modernize everything now. She slammed her pen down onto the dining table. Her expression was cold and completely enraged. She snapped, I do not care about your dirt, Arthur. I hate living this isolated, boring life. You must sell this whole dirty operation. The money is better spent on a house in Omaha, I said. This land is family property, Vanessa. It is not for sale, ever. This grant secures us financially for years. She stood up, pointing a sharp, manicured finger directly at my face. She yelled, you are a selfish, small-minded simpleton. I am married to a literal farmer. You will never achieve real success. I demand you sell your inherited farm. I absolutely hate living in the Midwest. Her demand to sell the land, the source of my family's heritage, was the final betrayal. I knew at that moment my marriage was officially over. I felt a cold resolve to protect the land at any cost. FISA's Update 1. I signed the $450,000 grant and the new Preservation Trust agreement the next day. The trust made the land legally immune to divorce settlements. The deed was instantly placed beyond Vanessa's reach forever. I realized her financial focus was exclusively on liquid cash. The massive land value, over $9,000, meant nothing to her. Her disdain blinded her to the immense security she was rejecting. When I tried to discuss the farm's value again, she shut me down instantly. I said, the land valuation increased this quarter. She repeated her dismissive lines with increased hostility. She said, the farm is nothing but a massive debt. You are too naive to understand business. Sell the acres and move to a luxury apartment. I refused to be known as a farm wife. Our friends, mostly her social circle, reinforced her harsh mockery. Her friend Chloe laughed at me openly at a local bar. Chloe asked, is Arthur still playing with his dirt? Why doesn't he get a proper city job? He needs to finally listen to Vanessa. I smiled faintly and just nodded, letting them believe their ignorant narrative. I was planning my final, absolute checkmate. I discreetly opened new, separate bank accounts in Omaha. I transferred all my liquid personal savings into the new, private accounts. I researched and hired a powerful, family-focused trust law attorney. The lawyer specialized in protecting generational wealth from divorce claims. I prepared all the necessary, ironclad divorce paperwork in complete secrecy. The separation was entirely decided. Update 2. I chose a quiet Saturday afternoon for the definitive confrontation. Vanessa was relaxing on the couch, watching a reality television show. I sat down opposite her, holding a large manila envelope. The grant money was already successfully deposited into the farm's trust account. I said, I am not selling the farm, Vanessa. The land is legally protected now and forever. I am finalizing the full modernization grant. She immediately stood up, her face twisted with a frightening, intense rage. She screamed, you are defying me for a pile of dirt. You think I am going to let you win? You will not live here without my support. She gave a sudden, chilling demand that revealed her true intentions. She commanded, sign the deed over to me right now. I will manage the sale for us properly. I will be the one in charge of the cash. I calmly reached into the envelope. I pulled out the neatly typed divorce papers and my lawyer's business card. I slid them across the coffee table toward her. I said, I will not be selling the farm, Vanessa. And I will not be your husband anymore. Sign the divorce papers and return the car keys. She looked at the paperwork, her face collapsing in shock. Then the fury returned, focused on her financial security. She yelled, you think you can afford a divorce? I will take half of all your assets. I deserve alimony and the land value. You will completely regret this betrayal. I looked her straight in the eyes, delivering the quiet, devastating truth. I said, the land is worth $9 million today. It is completely protected by my family's airtight trust. It is not a marital asset, not one single penny. You will receive only a final, small settlement. She gave her final, dramatic ultimatum, trying to reassert control. She cried, cancel this stupid divorce immediately, Arthur. Or you will never see me again ever. It is me or your useless, boring dirt. I chose the land and my peace without hesitation. I said, I choose the farm, Vanessa. I choose my integrity and my legacy. Your lawyer can contact my attorney directly. She collapsed onto the floor, screaming accusations of betrayal and fraud. I left her there, utterly detached from her emotional breakdown. Update 3. The fallout over the next 2 weeks was dramatic and exhausting. Vanessa's initial, extreme shock turned into pure, self-destructive rage. She started sending violent, accusatory text messages constantly. She screamed, you completely lied about the $9 million. I will find a lawyer who will crush your trust. You deserve to lose absolutely everything. You are a cruel, cold, heartless man. I remained calm, logical, and completely unresponsive to her emotional attacks. I communicated strictly through the divorce lawyers. I refused to let her emotional drama pull me back into the toxicity. She then shifted abruptly to desperate, tearful bargaining and pleading. She begged, I will close the boutique and stay here. I promise I will never mention selling the land again. I was just confused about the valuation, Arthur. Please, I need your financial security right now. My lawyer sent her a final notice. It stated all communication must be professional. I wrote in a brief email, the trust documents are legally binding. The divorce is absolutely final now. Please only contact my lawyer from now on. She then spent days in deep, theatrical depression, barely leaving the house. The anger would soon resurface, aimed entirely at my character. She hissed, you are an emotionally stunted simpleton. You will live alone with your cows forever. Nobody will ever want a boring farmer. I focused solely on the physical separation. I hired a private moving crew to retrieve all my remaining personal belongings. I moved into a renovated small cottage house on the far side of the farm property. I left the main house entirely for Vanessa to pack and vacate. Moving day arrived on a quiet, foggy morning. Vanessa was completely absent, presumably with friends in Omaha. I felt an immense, immediate wave of quiet peace. I was completely free of her toxic, expensive demands. My new life and job started immediately. I began my sustainable agriculture consulting business. The $450,000 grant was immediately put to use. My office was a state-of-the-art lab in the farm's renovated barn. I was finally combining my technical skills with my love for the land. I felt productive, valued, and finally completely respected. Alarus Update 4. Over the next 8 months I experienced exponential personal and professional growth. I was fully settled into my new, quiet life on the farm. My CAS, Controlled Atmosphere Storage project for the grain was a complete technical success. I also formalized my consulting side business. This gave me an additional $150,000 annual income from external contracts. My financial status was now secure and rapidly growing. I leveraged the farm's value and my new income. I purchased a second, small residential property in a desirable suburban area. I rented it out immediately for passive income, My net worth was accelerating at an unprecedented, rapid rate. I joined a new local conservation group. I made new, genuine friends who shared my passion for the environment. The confused messages from Omaha started arriving soon after. Vanessa's mother, Carol, was the first to reach out on social media. Carol asked Arthur, "What is truly happening with you? Vanessa told us you lost the farm to debt. She says you filed for bankruptcy and moved. Why is she now completely without a house?" I was polite but completely direct in my honest reply to her family. I texted I received a $450,000 grant for the farm. The property value is over $9 million. I filed for divorce because she demanded I sell it. Vanessa is lying about the entire situation now. I ignored all messages from her former friends entirely. Their judgment meant absolutely nothing to me. Her lies were designed to make her the tragic victim of a greedy, poor husband. She was claiming I was a terrible manager who lost the farm. Her constant fabrication of my failure only made my quiet, immense success more satisfying. I let her continue the lie, waiting for the truth to fully crush her. As Update 5. After securing a massive contract with a regional farming cooperative, I posted my success publicly. I posted a detailed feature article from Mess Agribusiness Daily Ev magazine. The article highlighted my advanced, sustainable farming techniques. It clearly mentioned the farm's massive land value and my new consulting business. The article also mentioned the large $450,000 grant. The reaction from Vanessa and her circle was immediate and catastrophic. She realized the absolute, enormous financial scale of the wealth she had rejected. She found out about the $9,000 land valuation she had mocked. The pleading emails from Vanessa started immediately flooding my professional inbox. She was desperate and completely panicked by the public truth. She wrote, "Arthur, I am so deeply sorry. I was stupid. I never truly meant my words about the farm. I was just so stressed about my small boutique. I love you. Please, let us restart our life." My former friends and colleagues started sending panicked, profuse apologies. They realized they had been completely duped by Vanessa's initial narrative. Chloe, the friend who mocked my dirt, sent a detailed apology. Chloe wrote, "I feel absolutely terrible for believing Vanessa. She told everyone the farm was completely worthless. $9 million in land is truly incredible. I am so sorry I ever laughed at your ambition." My own family was completely validated by the public article. They had always been supportive of my quiet, deep passion for the land. My uncle, the trust executor, called me immediately. He said, "You handled that entire situation perfectly. She only cared about liquid, immediate cash. The trust protected the farm exactly as intended. We are incredibly proud of your steady integrity." The public validation was immense and deeply satisfying. Vanessa's bitter attempt to paint me as a failure had utterly collapsed. The shame and the truth were now entirely hers to bear. Update 6. About a year after the divorce was legally finalized, Vanessa showed up in person. I was working in the main barn, overseeing a new irrigation system installation. She drove her small, luxury sedan down the long, dusty access road. She looked thin, worn out, and deeply upset. She was carrying a cheap, generic fruit pie, a forced domestic gesture. She rushed over immediately, trying to force an image of the loving wife. She said, "Arthur, I drove all this way just for you. I have completely changed my mind about the farm. I know how much this land truly means to you. I want to move back in and be your farm wife." I immediately stopped working and kept my body language rigid and cold. I said, "You are not permitted on this property, Vanessa. You need to leave this farm immediately. Our divorce is legally final and irreversible." She insisted she had undergone a total, genuine personal transformation. She begged. "I have been in extensive therapy for months. I finally understand the stability of the land. I will never pressure you to sell anything again. Please, I only want to be with you." I called out her past hypocrisy and her extreme hatred of the Midwest. I said, "You said you absolutely hated living here. You called my life boring and simple. You said I would never be a success. Your only change is your bank account balance." She started crying uncontrollably, claiming she was now completely humbled and desperately lonely. She pleaded I hit rock bottom when my boutique failed. "I realize I only need your honest love. I want my life back, Arthur." I delivered the final, non-negotiable, and completely cold truth. I knew exactly why she was begging to return now. I said, "You only changed because you lost your financial footing. You regret losing the $9 million asset. You do not regret treating me like your failure. I am calling the county sheriff right now. I watched her turn and walk away, defeated and completely alone. She left the cheap pie sitting on a nearby workbench. I felt a cool, justified triumph. I immediately threw the untouched pie into the nearby industrial waste bin. Update 7. Vanessa's desperation quickly led to a final, reckless legal escalation. She hired a predatory, cheap lawyer from a neighboring town. The lawyer sent a letter claiming I fraudulently hid the farm's true value from her. She alleged I owed her half of the last 3 years of agricultural profits. She tried to claim emotional distress damages due to my betrayal. My specialized trust lawyer dismantled every claim instantly. The farm's value was public record and freely available to her. The farm profits were entirely held within the Legal Preservation Trust. Her emotional distress claim was instantly dismissed as completely frivolous. The judge noted her clear, malicious intent to seize an inherited asset. My lawyer stated she has zero legal standing, Arthur. We are now demanding full payment of all fees. She needs to accept the finality of this disaster. Failing legally, Vanessa launched a toxic social media campaign. She created new, anonymous profiles on various farming discussion boards. She started posting angry, vague rants about a greedy, cruel landowner. She claimed I was exploiting the soil and abusing the local labor. The campaign backfired brutally within the tight-knit agricultural community. My farm and family were extremely well known and respected. The local cooperative immediately issued a public, professional statement. The cooperative wrote, Arthur's farm is a leader in sustainability. His family is highly ethical and respected. Any claims otherwise are completely false. These are baseless attacks by a clearly disgruntled person. The cooperative's public denouncement was the absolute final blow. Vanessa's remaining social allies instantly turned against her. They realized she was deliberately attempting to smear my clean reputation. The entire campaign collapsed overnight. Her attempt to hurt my business only resulted in her total professional and social isolation. Update 1 year later. My life was a complete picture of stable, abundant success. I was 35 years old. My farm modernization project was a massive, regional success story. My consulting income had stabilized to $220,000 annually. I bought a commercial lot in Omaha and planned to build a new office building. My financial stability was absolute and permanent. I was in a loving, committed partnership with Clara. She was a brilliant agricultural engineer I met at a state conference. Our relationship was built on a shared, deep love for the land and mutual professional respect. We were building a genuine, honest life together on the farm. I received a final email from Vanessa on an old, forgotten address. It was short, reflective, and offered the last piece of closure. She wrote, I am working for minimum wage in Nevada now. I finally realized what I threw away with you. I was obsessed with superficial, toxic status. I truly regret losing your stability and the farm. It was the first truly honest moment of self-reflection from her. It confirmed that she had acknowledged her financial and emotional betrayal. I felt a cool, detached pity for her profound self-inflicted fate. I responded politely and with finality. I texted, I have the peace I deserve now, Vanessa. I wish you the very best in Nevada. That was the absolute, final word. I closed the email and never looked back even once. The long, difficult, toxic chapter was officially and permanently over. Final update. 3 years after the divorce was finalized, I was elected to the State Agricultural Advisory Board. I was attending an official, state-wide dinner function. I was introduced to a prominent woman on the board, Mrs. Davies. She was Miranda's mother, Carol. She approached me after the dinner, her face filled with genuine shame and deep sadness. Carol said, Arthur, I have wanted to find you for years. I owe you the most sincere apology for my daughter. Vanessa was truly obsessed with the wrong things. We taught her only to chase surface-level cash. We failed her by creating that selfish monster. I am deeply sorry for the pain she inflicted on you. She confirmed that Vanessa was still struggling to rebuild her life. She was living in a small, isolated studio apartment far away from everyone. Her mother acknowledged that the focus on shallow status had utterly ruined her daughter. Her apology was sincere, coming from a place of deep, profound parental regret. It was the final, total vindication of my difficult choice. I reflected on my journey as I looked out over the flat, fertile Nebraska fields. Vanessa's betrayal was my greatest catalyst. Her demand to sell the farm for quick cash freed me from her toxic control. Her mockery of my quiet life forced me to secure the land with the trust. I used her contempt to drive my entire professional ascent. I learned that true wealth is not liquid cash, but protected, generational assets. My life lesson for all of you is clear and absolute. Never let someone convince you that you're stable. Quiet success is a failure. If they demand you liquidate your legacy for their temporary status, they are not your partner. Trust your instincts, secure your assets legally, and watch them destroy themselves with their own insatiable greed. I am Arthur, I am 37, and I am the State Agricultural Advisor. I am happy, financially sovereign, and building a genuine future with Clara on my family's $9 million land. I am finally and completely fulfilled.